Hello, everyone. Welcome to Primecast Live, episode 54. For those of you keeping track, I'm your host, Will Schick, and I'm here with my co-host, Will Hungerford.
What's up, everybody?
Woo, woo.
Woo, woo.
All right, so this is episode 4 of us doing it live?
Episode 4 of us
Four of us doing it live.
Yes, because 51 was the first ever live episode. When we say live, we mean live on stream. We did live episodes at, recorded.
So we did a live episode at Lock and Load last year,
Yeah.
which is timely because Lock and Load is rapidly approaching this year.
That's why I was bringing it up.
I know. So we're going to talk a bit more about that with JR coming up, I think. Do we have JR? We don't have JR. Yeah, we have JR this year. It's right here. This year. Right here. I have show notes. They're throwing me off. I don't normally have notes.
Can I say something
I have
real
tiny
fast?
cue cards.
So if you've never watched Primecast Live, you probably listened to the podcast back in the day, and you're like, they're so clean. They never make mistakes. Well, guess what? You're watching it live now. We're on Twitch, twitch.tv/privateerpress. If you're watching this on YouTube later on, you can join us 3 times a week normally. We do stream. Every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, we do the weekly Rumble where we get on stream. We fight War Machine, Hordes, Company of Iron, Monster Apocalypse soon.
We've done Arcanist. We've done
Extreme Colossal Wrestling.
Extreme Colossal Wrestling. Yeah, we do all kinds of things. I'm really campaigning hard for Zombies Keep Out because that game's awesome and we need to play it.
I would love to see some RPG on here too.
Oh man, we've had some requests for RPGs. I don't think people know. I can't be a part of it.
The thing is, to be honest, we have to redo our entire stream setup to be able to do an RPG because of the way we're done right now. To get the 5 people around the table we would need.
Yeah, we did. I'm sure John and Tony could figure out. They're smart people, but I feel like this is just going to go off the rails so fast.
Yeah,
so fast.
Every Wednesday we do the Dev Hangout. Typically myself, William Schoonover, and William Pagani. We talk about what's in CID, and if nothing's in CID, we talk about what's going on in development in general.
And every once in a while, I hijack the episode with Doug Seacat, and we talk about nonsense. So if you watched yesterday, you got to see a lot of sweet nonsense. It was great.
I got to work on things, and it was actually great. I got to just be productive, and I had the stream on in the background, and I didn't catch it all, so it was kind of like a fever dream. The stuff you were talking about, it just sounded like madness and yelling.
No, it was all genius.
Okay.
Doug and I have very strong opinions about things in the world, and Doug thinks he's right all the time, but I think he's wrong most of the time.
Sure, yeah.
So it's him being right and me just trying to make him feel like he's wrong.
But Doug can't be wrong. He is the
I know, so I said that's why it's Doug being right and me trying to make him feel like he's wrong. It's like a crazy game.
It depends on the segment. If you had Doug on, let's say, a painting segment.
I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is, John. Oh, my shirt's rubbing on my mic? Hold on, I can fix that. Primecast Live.
Yeah, so one last thing. Thursdays is Get Your Paint On with Dallas Camp, 10 a.m. Pacific. He paints, hobbies, and talks to you. So Primecast Live's
Is that better? Yeah.
Once a month we do the Primecast. It's our podcast. Used to be our podcast, now it's live. It's sort of our variety show. We're going to talk about all kinds of different stuff. And it being live, it's not quite as structured as some of the other ones.
We have show notes.
We know what we're doing.
We have show notes.
But it's not like play a game, paint a model, talk about CID.
Oh, no.
We're just having a conversation.
This is just happening. And
it's like a talk show.
I'm going to be honest, show 54, I think today is going to be really exciting because effectively what's on the agenda is something very different. For those of you who may not have caught the memo, this is 15 years of War Machine. It's kind of a big deal. And with Lock and Load rapidly approaching, this being the Lock and Load episode, we decided that we were going to kind of take this and do a little retrospective, talking to everybody who comes on the show about their experience and their history with War Machine. So we're going to talk about 15 years potentially of playing the games, becoming part of the company, all the good stuff.
Yes.
So we're just gonna wax maniacal about everything.
Which what I basically was saying is everybody get strap in because get ready for some clips.
We're gonna go down memory lane.
Get ready for some things that are going to get talked about. Real fast.
Did we rub Vaseline on the lens for that?
No.
Oh.
We do not.
But we should. Imagine that Vaseline has been rubbed on the lens for this episode.
What the
very
hell?
Smeary on the sides.
It's
That's
how
what
they
you
used to do
That's how
the
they used to do a little
flashback thing.
flashback. You rub Vaseline on the side of the lens, it makes it all blurry. This was before people had CGI budgets.
Okay.
Some of the classic oh my God. Have you not seen the Muppet movie?
Yes.
Okay, he rubs Vaseline on the side. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
So let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. But real fast, I want to give a shout out. I dedicate the shirt I'm wearing today.
Oh.
I've got a scoring shirt on. People to Alex Beck. He's one of our players. He went hiking with me on Memorial Day.
Okay, yeah.
So Alex, if you're watching this, the reason I'm wearing a scoring shirt is for you.
Okay.
So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to go over the new releases for June.
Yes. So many good releases.
We'll talk a little bit about some of the cool stuff coming up for Lock and Load in general. We're going to have Seacat or Gets on.
Seacat.
We're going to have Seacat on, and we're going to go over some Imran minutia, probably Manowar theme since all the Manowar stuff.
I mean, really what we're going to talk to Doug about is 15 years.
15 years.
of creating the world.
Dig it. I'm totally in. Then we'll do a struggle of wills with Oz and Pagani.
Holy cow. I don't even know how this is going to work.
We're going to talk about
It's going to be madness.
I have an extra chair.
We have an extra chair behind there. So
I thought they were just going to both share this chair.
That would be funnier.
It would be great.
Pagani sitting on Oz's lap is adorable. Oz sitting on Pagani's lap is funny.
Let's be honest. They're not going to sit in each other's laps. They're just going to like take a little corner of the chair, and then they're going to fall off a lot.
So we'll talk about 15 years of development.
Yeah.
Then we'll have JR on, I imagine. And we're just going to talk about Lock and Load, Gen Con, War Machine Weekend, all the cool stuff coming up.
Talk about a lot. I mean, definitely we'll probably dive into some of the history of Privateer Press conventions, some of the cool moments that we remember and stuff like that. And then we will wrap up, kind of cover our thoughts for the general episode, maybe answer a couple questions, and kick things off for Lock and Load, basically, in like 3 weeks.
Yeah. So before we move on, do we actually have like a drums button yet? Do we have a soundboard where you can hit a button and the drums play?
Schick has not gotten me a soundboard yet.
So,
I am your, you know what? I'm writing a note. Soundboard. This pen doesn't work.
Here, I'll write it. Sound board.
Next section.
I don't give
wait,
you
should I
working
sell-
pens because I don't want your thoughts put down
That's
permanently.
uncool. Like I've etched, you know,
I've decided to spell it this way.
yeah, that's
Soundboard.
Board. Yeah.
So-
B-O-R-E-D. All right, let's talk new releases.
Yeah, let's talk about what's coming up in June.
All right.
So June is a big Manowar month. You're going to see a lot of the models that were in the Manowar CID come out. Let's start with the big one. Literally the big one. Not me, the camera. Not me. Also, you need to warn me before you do that.
No, that's not as fun.
Because
it's
like I don't
clearly
like,
not as fun.
You, it could be the day you snap and you attack me on stream, and I have
With
to
a
defend.
Manowar box?
I don't know what you had over there.
That'd be fair. It would be pretty good. I mean, if I ever attack you with anything, it's gonna be with a lemon meringue pie.
So the Manowar theme box is coming out. This is meant to be built with the Khador battle group. You take your Khador battle group and you add this box to it. And you have yourself a 50-point army, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it
35.
35.
35.
Would you tell everybody what's inside this box? Because it's actually a really good value.
So what is inside this box? We have the new Manowar suppression tanker. So he's the infantry one, the gunner.
Yep.
Big old pepper boxes on his arms. We have the commandant, commandant Atanas Arkanovich and standard.
Yes. The most badass standard bearer in the game. Like,
mean, he
don't
brings
worry,
it.
Don't worry about the
Brings it.
rules. The way that model looks, you're just like, that dude's going to beat someone to death with a flag.
That guy actually lost me the War Machine game I played against Oz in the Weekly Rumble not too long ago. It was very uncool. He stabbed me with a POW 10, like, what is it, shank? No. It's that short sword that the Romans
No,
used.
no.
What is it called?
It's a Manowar shank.
It's a Manowar shank.
It's a Manowar
Effectively,
shank.
it might as well be a Manowar
It's a
shank.
gladius.
A gladius, there you go.
Or gladius is like Roman soldiers in the Colosseum fighting with shanks.
Look, if you're a Manowar and you give somebody a gladius, that's a shank. They're so large and gladiuses are so short. Oh, I would totally, Nick Azarula, I will totally smash a pie.
That's just Travis.
That's Travis.
I know.
That's Travis Mark. While you're watching this, we have the stream up live right now, so we'll be answering questions from chat occasionally. We'll read the person's name and repeat it. Travis Marg, one of the worst judges we've ever had. Anybody who knows anything?
Wow,
says,
it's harsh.
Great guy, just not very good at what he does. Says, how can us viewers start a donation pool for the soundboard, Privateer Press? You can mail them directly to me here at Privateer Press. I'll take food, money, pictures of you and your family, whatever you want to send.
And also in the
Do
box.
not send things to Hunger Free.
So you've also got battle mechanics, of course, so you can repair your Manowars and your Warjacks. You've got Sergeant Drago Stragatovich and his Manowar demo corps. So a full unit of those guys. And then last but not least, you have a Greylord Force here. Effectively, outside of the suppression tanker, this is basically the army that Oz played with what's his name in the battle group box? Or am I blanking on his name?
Kozlov?
Kozlov,
Yeah.
Count Visgoth of Skaro.
Viscount of Skarsgård.
It doesn't matter. There's a number of words there.
It doesn't matter.
People know what I'm talking about. We're good.
Schick can't Khador word.
Something there.
So how much is the box? It's $164.99, I believe.
Yes, $164.99, and you get all that stuff. Add it to your battle group box. Make your own battle group box. You're ready to go. You're ready to play Manowar.
And that's like 20% off if you tried to buy all that stuff separately, I believe.
Something like
The thing is, if you're playing Khador and you're thinking about getting into Manowar, whether or not you do add this to the battle group box, which is kind of for new players, honestly. But if you're a veteran or existing player, it's just good value, and every model in there is useful. Like Demo Corps with the new UA, a Tannis, the Suppression Tanker, Forge Seers if you don't already have two. You're looking at just powerful, useful models in honestly a variety of lists. Like Forge here we see popping up.
Yeah,
kind of
I mean,
all
I've
over the
been
place.
playing Khador for over a decade. I've never bought anything Manowar, so obviously this is a great box for me.
Really?
Yeah, I was not into Manowar. I liked the Winter Guard and the Doom Reaver stuff.
Man, Manowar is what I'm all about when it comes to
It
Khador.
just wasn't my thing. So yeah, so if you're starting from scratch, it's a great way to start. If you're a brand new player, it's a great way to jump in, and you don't have to worry about the list building and all that stuff. You're ready to go.
So that's the big product. But let's quickly go over some of the other products coming out this month that'll be on your store shelves. Go to your local game store, make sure you pre-order. Say, hey, I need this. I will be less of a person if I don't have it, and they'll order.
So I mean, one of those things is definitely Sorcerer 3.
Sorcerer 3.
I mean, she's Sorcerer and Manowar armor. What more do you need to know? It's incredible.
Yeah. Obviously, Built works great in the new Manowar theme force, and classic model, again, celebrating the 15 years. That flank Manowar that she gives her entire battle group is just a really fun ability.
Well, I mean, she has Iron Flesh. It's fantastic. She's super tough herself.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, she's great. Super fun to play. Speed 4, a little weird
She's
for a
fine.
Sorcerer,
She's
but
She's in Manowar armor.
she has Wind Rush, so,
Yeah.
you know.
We're gonna kind of blow through these real fast so we can
Yeah,
get
go
next
for
segment. We're gonna have the Bombardier Officer coming out, who is Berserk. The Bombardier Officer makes the Bombardiers
He's
once
not
per
Berserk.
not literally Berserk, not the rule.
not Berserk.
He's so powerful. Once per game,
Yeah.
shoot twice. Also gives them the ability to walk through, or when they advance, they get Pathfinder.
Yeah, so that you get a chainsaw through terrain, which is probably Oz's like crowning moment at Private Ship Rest.
Also gives them quick work.
Quick work is actually pretty legit on dudes with giant steam-powered chainsaws and rocket launchers.
Super legit.
So good.
So step 1, get 2 units of Bombardiers. Step 2, get 2 officers. Step 3, put the Butcher in as your caster. Step
sure.
4, doesn't matter what the rest of your list is, win.
That's it. Interesting. Well, there you go. That's one man's opinion.
Then talking about great unit attachments, we've got Dragos.
Oh man, Dragos.
Let's see if I can actually say his name. Sergeant Dragos Dragotovich.
Yeah.
Did I get it, Doug?
You got it.
Yes.
You locked down.
So what we're talking about here, what makes a melee unit good? I don't know, let's see. How about +2 to def against melee attacks and no knockdown all the time while they're base to base? How about Vengeance?
Sure, seems legit.
And then how about a once per game ability that's effectively Sanguine Bond?
I'd take that for $1.
Would you put that on then the new updated Demo Core?
You know, yeah, I would.
And then
I
would you push those so hard down the front of your opponent's skull that the back of their head just popped open like a grape?
No.
In game,
No,
not in real
okay.
life. In game.
We've clarified.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And worth mentioning, this model, dude looks like a badass.
I mean,
100%.
he's hardcore.
Siegfried on Twitch just said, "What a badass!"
Hilarious
He sure
story
did.
about that model. Before, when he was first being concepted and sculpted, those hammers weren't short. They were full-length Demo Core hammers. Didn't look quite as badass.
No, but that looks dope.
Looked a little dorky.
This is why we review
we
things.
cut the half off. I know. We made the choice, cut the hammers down, and now he looks like he will murder the world.
Yes.
Runewise has it right. Runewise says, "Splatter that goose." This dude will splatter all the gooses.
Truth.
100%.
Truth.
Speaking of, again, making units better, Commander Atanis and the standard we were talking
and
about
the
earlier,
standard.
they're
He
going to be
makes
coming out.
everything better.
I mean, I love the TICOM, the Tyrant Commander and standard style units where it's the big leader and then the standard bearer. But like both of these guys can fight.
Yes. Well, yes.
Like they will murder the world.
The standard is fine at what he does. He can definitely murder things. Especially Imperatuses who decide to leave his melee range, apparently. I'm not bitter.
But
But Atanis he's definitely got offensive potential.
well, everything he brings, right? Also, just not only killing things, but if you're playing a Manowar list, do you want tough? Sure. Do you want retaliatory? Yes. Do you want possibly Pathfinder with relentless charge? Absolutely. And do you want friggin' tactician in
Yeah.
Manowar?
Yeah.
You kind of need that because I don't know if you noticed if you're playing a Manowar army, your whole army is a bunch of slow-moving big dudes, and so being able to move through each other.
Well, and like you were talking about with the Demo Core, one of the classic moves we saw a lot in playtest was you have your shield walling, normal Manowars, your shock troopers up front, you have your Demo Core behind, and then the Demo Core just go, all right, we're there.
Yeah.
Hello.
And needless to say, second coolest sets of Manowar armor ever.
Yes.
Truth.
The first coolest sets of Manowar armor are what we're going to talk about next, the tankers. So the tankers, in my opinion, they are my personal favorite models coming out of the Manowar release. Like I looked at them and I was like, holy hell, look at these things.
They're
They are
pretty awesome.
so freaking dope. And I hope that John has a picture of them to be able to pull up on stream. Do you?
I mean, I'm sure he does.
I have both of them. Which would you like to start with?
You know what?
Well, the strike tanker is the
Look
one that
at-
comes out outside of the box.
Yeah,
That's the suppressor one that comes in the box.
You just talk about it. I'm going to look at the image for a bit and just admire that.
He's
thing.
got giant, pepper boxes on his arms. He murders everything that is not in super heavy armor. He has a lot of shielding action going
Look
on.
at the
That's
strike.
the one that I actually.
Look at the
that's
strike
my favorite.
tanker.
though.
That
The
gun
strike
up on the
tanker, like
shoulder.
shoulder.
I have no
Super
idea how he
sweet.
fires that thing. We'll ask Doug when he comes on. Like, how does that thing actually get triggered?
He has a nose button. He
Oh, he's
pushes
booping.
it.
He's
Yeah,
booping his
he boops
snoot
his
and
nose
just
button.
blasting
Yeah.
dudes in the nugget.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I'm into it.
And the IKRPG rules for their armor and gear went up on the website yesterday.
That's right. So if
via
you want to
Mr.
play
Matt
one of
Getz.
those and make sure that nobody ever wants to play with you in the RPG again, you can be one of those guys.
Yep.
And just be like, I'm sorry. Did you want to do something? You can't.
Well, there's also notes in there for GMs on how to add it to their
I am
game
indestructible,
in
sir.
less liberal ways.
Super slow, but indestructible.
Matthew Bunting in chat right now says that he's a huge fan of Batman and he wants to paint his Manowar kind of like Batman colored, and that'll be really cool looking when that happens. I'm super excited to see that. Matt, I hope to see you at Lock and Load or Gen Con, man. It was good hanging out with you last year. But yes, suppression tanker, you want to kill lots of infantry. Strike tanker, you want to murder big things. Take both, be a cool person. Then that's the end of the Manowar releases for June. But we've got two other things coming out in June. One is The Chosen of Everblight, which I know are your jam completely.
Oh man, they're so sweet. Like they're amazing. I'm restraining myself because John has told me I'm not alled to blow up mics anymore.
Blow up mics.
I can't.
People out there are hyped.
He's
I
turning it
have
down.
my hand
He's
on the
turning it
button.
down, turning
Like-
it down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah!
Sorry. The Chosen are really cool, and I love them more than my children.
You know they have the internet, right?
They don't know how to use it. They're still too young. Someday they'll find this, and then
Have-
they'll realize why.
Have 3 more kids, then make little tiny Chosen outfits for all 5.
Yeah.
And have your kids go as the Chosen of Everblight for Halloween, and you can be Thagrosh running behind them, like get yourself some big wings and like a big rapture, and like just go do that and horrify people.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, so the Chosen were not in Mist. They were not in last month with the big Blighted Ogre and drop. They are now coming out this month. They are amazing. The models are humongous, and
So
they look awesome. Dallas has been painting them on Get Your Paint On for the last couple of weeks until he switched to his Monster Apocalypse Defender X stuff. Also super exciting, giant robots holding back. Yeah, so Chosen of Everblight. I mean, you need these guys. You want them.
Yeah.
They're fantastic.
Agreed. And then we got something else that's coming out this month, but it's going to be released a little bit different. And we're going to talk about more about Lock and Load in here in a bit. But the first of the 0-year journeymen are going to be coming out
That's
in
right.
June.
Baby Kane
Baby Kane
coming out.
at Lock and Load.
His baby legs and his big guns.
His baby legs?
Yeah.
Oh, please someone do
legs
that conversion. Please someone do that
ready to
conversion.
go.
Please. I need to see a Kane Zero with just tiny, itty bitty little baby legs. If anybody's seen Deadpool 2 yet, you know exactly what I want. That would be amazing. But he's going to be at
He will be at Lock and Load, yep. So he'll pre-release at Lock and Load. Regularly release will be later. But if you want him right away, and why wouldn't you? Lock and Load's the place to get him. And it's going to be amazing.
Now,
Kane Zero, Baby Kane.
2 more things to talk about for June before we move on to the lore minutia with Doug. One, the mini crate right now is one of the best ones we've ever made. I'm biased because I like Minions a whole bunch, and I don't hide that anymore. I'm very open about it. The Pharaoh Valkyrie Brigand Warlord. Holy hell, have you seen this model?
She's pretty good. She's pretty good.
And like, it's funny because you see different reactions to the mini crate models. Because some people are like, I play that faction, I like that, or the people are like, that's a good looking model. But like everybody has, like, I have not seen a single negative thing said about.
That's because you're incapable of doing so when it comes to ham things made of bacon.
Absolutely.
Ambidextrous.
Ambidextrous.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I also,
say, look at that ambidextrous model.
like, look, yeah, just it's up on screen now. Look at that thing. I want like 5 of them. I can't even run that many, but I just want that many models. She's so happy too. She's like, bang bang.
Is she happy? I feel like she's not really that happy.
That is
she's
a
more
smile.
like she's more like come get me.
Nah.
As like the
That's a-
horde
that's-
is coming
that's a
at
come
and
get
she's
me.
just like gunning them down.
Nah, I like
Eventually she gets overwhelmed and like pulled to her death in that dramatic movie moment.
Yeah.
But she takes a lot of them with her.
So you have till
lot.
June 19th to go to Mini Crate and sign up to be able to get this model. And if you miss out, you know, for those of you who don't remember, Mini Crate, we destroy the molds. They don't get made again. So if you don't get this model, you never will, and then your life will be empty I want you to have a fulfilling life, and I want you to have 5 children dressed up as Chosen. So get the Pharaoh Brigand War Valkyrie.
And speaking of total BA lady killers,
Yeah.
if you get the 6-month subscription, you can still get Ms. Walls,
Oh, yes.
who,
The monkey's got a gun.
I mean, the monkey has a gun, but I love that model. I love the pose. I love the attitude. Like, everything about that model is, don't piss me off, or I will shoot you in the face.
Yeah. We have one last thing to talk about for June.
Yeah.
I believe you have it over there off the
do.
side. This
I
one I
do.
know about. No Quarter Prime issue 5's out.
That's right. So, super sexy issue, has tons of stuff in it. Has all the Manowar stuff from CID. So if you want to get an in-depth look at the development thoughts on the CID cycle and what things changed and why, that's in there. Fire and Forge continues its discussion of are we still in Lel there, Doug?
Yeah, it's the whole first few. The first 6 are all
So
escalation.
So we are still in escalation era. So the world is slowly going into war-torn chaos. We've got a great little vignette of Vlad fighting off some Bane thralls.
Mm-hmm. That was the death of Vlad, as many people thought back in the day.
Yeah, and we've got the Arcanus game, which we played on Weekly Rumble, which
Yep.
is amazing. Super awesome party game.
Yep.
Get 8 of your friends and blast each other with magic bolts.
Yeah, drink rum while you play it.
So good.
Somebody said, so it was actually Travis Marg, and Travis, earlier while we were talking a little smack to each other on stream, I want you to know that I do love you as a human being. He's my favorite person. Travis was mentioning the older No Quarter Decorators game and how having the Mrs. Walls is great, because then you have 2 quartermasters you can use, the regular Mr. Walls and the Mrs. Walls, which then made me think, okay, I need 2 people out there to get married.
Dangerous.
And I want the wedding cake, the topper, to be a Mr. and Mrs. Walls. If you could do that for me, somebody out there, I would be super happy with you. So next War Machine couple
There
that
you
gets
go.
married, make sure you're on Minicrate, get a 6-month subscription, get your Mrs. Walls in plan of your relationship working and not failing, and then have a Mr. and Mrs. Walls on top of your cake. I will go to your wedding.
There we go. Also, Cheddar Caveman, you are correct. There's a totally badass how to paint Loki article in there. It's awesome. It shows you how to do fur effects.
Yeah.
It
By one
shows you how to
Lord
do the
Fi.
colors. Yep, it's fantastic. So loaded with great content, just like every issue has been. So pick it up. It's available now. Should be on your shelves. You can also get it from the online store if you can't find it at your local game shop because they're sold out.
Store.privateerpress.com.
Thank you, Radio Voice. Who needs a soundboard? We got that.
We need a soundboard, because it's time to play the drums and get Doug in here. Thank you.
Let's move this stuff for you, Doug.
Trail of the Dead says, or a Mr. or Mrs. Totem Hunter. The reason I didn't go with that one is just because Mr. and Mrs. Walls have the name Mr. and Mrs. in them.
Pretty sure she's Ms. actually, so don't put her in a box.
No,
She
it's
will
Mrs.
shoot you in the face.
It is MRS.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would we do that, Doug?
I have no idea. I was not involved. I take no responsibility.
So that's why I said the Walls, because
Any
they're
R's.
Any R's? You take no responsibility
No
for
responsibility
R's?
for the
Any
Rs.
R that has been placed is
Yes,
not yours?
Not mine.
Oh.
Hey everybody, it's Doug Seacat.
Doug Seacat.
How's everybody doing?
If you don't know who Doug is, if you're ever joining us for the first time, Doug is the lead writer and is basically the lore master of everything War Machine and Hordes, Iron Kingdoms,
It has been for like 12 years.
It has
Is
been,
the
yeah.
Lord of
Even
Continuity.
Longer than that. Like, I think I started writing
You
Iron
start
Kingdom stuff in like 2001. So
because what did you start with? What was the very first thing you wrote?
Witchfire trilogy background for the Church of Morrow in I think the third Witchfire book, and I gave some feedback on the second Witchfire when they were first coming.
And how
out,
did you
so.
wind up getting to write that?
Mostly just knowing people, like as always happens in the world. If you happen to know somebody, no. The one of the main authors of the Witchfire trilogy, Matt Strosik, was a friend of mine in college. We both had written together, and he knew I could write a lot quickly. And they were working on this, this new setting, and basically they decided they wanted to work on kind of a setting book while they were releasing some of the first products. And so the notion, that's why I think, old timers will remember in the Witchfire trilogy in the back, we promised a few things that didn't quite happen. There was like a little
They
ad
just
for-
evolved. They evolved
Are you
and
talking about
they
the
changed.
city of Ghosts?
Yeah, there was an ad for Corvus, the City of Ghosts, which was going to come out probably in like 2002 or something.
coming.
And then
Still coming.
It's on the docket.
there was an Iron Kingdoms setting book that was going to be 200 pages, that was going to be out in like 1 year or something. And of course, that turned into ultimately the Iron Kingdom's character guide and world guide, each of which was 400 pages.
I was gonna say, over-delivered on that one
we
for sure.
over-delivered. So a lot of my first years writing for Iron Kingdom stuff was working on those settings books, just basically writing setting material for months on end with no pay through email.
So, Doug, I got a question for you. You've been here 12 of the 15 years.
Yeah.
You've done everything from what you just mentioned, like the old world guides, up to writing your own novels with
Sure.
Blood of Kings. This doesn't have to be your top all time, but what is one of your immediate, like one of the most fun things you've had, one of the most enjoyable times you've had writing something? What was one of the projects you worked on that you were like, man, that was really cool. I really enjoyed that.
One of the ones that always comes to mind for me was it was actually the intro story in Mark II for the Circle book, where I got to have Kruger kind of unleash on the Menites in like a way that we'd never shown before, and it was totally implausible to the tabletop. He was pulling full on, storm and flood, murdering hundreds of people. There was convergence of the moons and all this stuff. But it was just a chance to kind of show. We had always talked about Kruger as this storm lord, but we hadn't really seen him do it.
I remember how excited you were when you came into Brent's office, which adjoined mine,
Yeah.
and you were like, "You read that part yet?" And Brent was like, "Oh, it's amazing," because I guess he was the one who said to put in the line like, "Where's your God now?"
where is your
Where
God
is your
now
God
is
now?
one of
Which
the lines.
Twitch right now was that
Where
Grom
is your
Fist
God
is like
now?
it's
Yeah.
all in caps. Where is your God
It
now?
was that was a lot of fun, but that was also a real challenge because I was working with my favorite editor Darla, and I had turned in a document that was literally 3 times longer than the length. And I remember somebody might have been you joking like, "Why don't you just take out all the these?" And I was like, that wouldn't do it. Like I would have had to take out one of every 3 words to make it fit in the original, the original length. So.
We have a quick question for you.
Sure.
So Steve on Facebook says, in the Forces of Khador Mark II book, the write-up for the Assault Commandos on page 86, man, you're doing your homework here.
Oh, here we go.
Mentions Commander Victor
Yeah,
Strakov.
that's a persistent typo that somehow we've had a hard time stamping out. I think you will not find it in the command book. We finally nuked
fixed it.
But it was one of these things. This will just happen sometimes where you're working on material before it's been released. I think it was like in a solicitation text. At one point we had him named Victor Strakov, and we were kind of like, that's the same name as Pendrake. Pendrake isn't even Khadoran. It's kind of confusing, and it's not like we can't ever share the same name again. But we just thought it was needlessly a weird duplication. So we're like, well, let's just change it. And then that little word got stuck in, like multiple places, and it just somehow didn't get eradicated. So, you could consider that maybe, I don't know, childhood nickname of Strakov.
Victor?
His good
Like
friends call him
Oleg, they were
Victor.
like, yeah, just call me Victor.
Just call
it's
me Victor.
fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Well, and we know he goes behind enemy lines and takes
Right.
on disguises
Who
a
would
lot. That could be like an alternate identity. Maybe he pretends to be Pendrake sometimes. I don't know.
He could. He's all like Black Ops.
Yeah,
right? That's what
and
he does.
he has one bad eye now. So
Yeah.
What does that matter?
Well, Pendrake has a bad eye.
Pendrake has a
helps
bad
with
eye?
the disguise. Yeah.
I mean, he needs to wear a patch though. He wears
Well,
glasses.
sure.
It's like not that bad. It's not like it's missing.
Yeah.
Strakov's just like missing.
He had an accident involving the Black 13th, I think.
And he could have 2 of his assault commandos pretend to be Linus and Adrea.
Yeah.
You could all like dress up.
Yeah, put on
Like an assault commando with a book and a pair of spectacles.
put on an elf wig. And, yeah, absolutely.
I'm an elf and I'm here to study. And like
has
he's still in
got-
full
this has
armor
got
with the
horrifying.
carbine out.
I don't know you're gonna make that deception check. So
Yeah.
looking back on, all of the stuff that you've had a hand in creating, like
Sure.
what are beyond story, what do you feel like, when do you feel like the Iron Kingdom's gelled? Like throughout the process? Like just became this place that was unequivocally
think-
real and its own thing.
For me, a lot of it came down to the release of Hordes, because prior to the release of Hordes, there was this real focus on, the military, the warjacks, which was all awesome, but it's like we had this whole other side to the setting. Like to me, it felt like there's these 2 halves of the setting. There's these urban, smoke-filled cities. And then you've got this horrible wilderness that explains why everybody has to be armed, to the teeth, and the perils of the wilds. We had these really cool druids that we had come up with. We had, the Tharn. We had, the Trollkin, which has always been one of my favorite of our intelligent races. And so to me, it was getting a chance to see Hordes on the tabletop going against War Machine, and it felt like those were sort of the two halves of the whole that until then, wasn't there. So for me, working on Hordes was, especially the Hordes Primal initially, was a big deal.
So what was the moment in the narrative that made you the saddest? Like where you're just like, I wish this didn't have to happen, but it must happen.
There's been a couple of those. It's funny because several of them involve Lael, because as we know, Lael has not had a good run.
No.
They've sort of been the battleground site. Yeah. It's like where all the bad stuff happens. And there's one early along that I think I've mentioned before, which was like I had written most of the cities for Lael in preparation for the World Guide when we thought we were setting it pre-escalation. Mm-hmm. And so then, like, I wasn't working as much on the War Machine fiction at that time, and basically I was given escalation, and they were like, hey, we need to bring the World Guide stuff up to date with these events that are happening here. And I start looking through, like, the war in Lael and all of the cities that I had written, getting invaded and annihilated, and, like, major characters getting destroyed. And I'm like, we didn't even get a chance to print these cities before, now we're annihilating the entire country. But it also opened up a lot of interesting opportunities, and it was actually really fun returning to Lael in Kings, Nations, and Gods for the new edition of the role playing game, where we could kind of basically I realized that the horrors and destruction we had unleashed on that kingdom made for a great adventuring template, where you've got like these 3 divided regions, you've got like various occupied areas, you've got the resistance. Like it made for something that would be fun even if you wouldn't want to like live there. And more recently there was a similar kind of thing, and I don't want to give too many spoilers, but in the second Aaron Rudell Acts of War book, some bad things happened to Elsenburg, which was one of my favorite cities in Lael. One of the ones that had made it through the
Everything,
war intact.
Yeah.
Like it had been like we even had Harkovich and Sorsha kind of sent in there. They kind of like did the humane thing and like preserved as many buildings as possible. And then we're like, well, you know what? We don't care about Elsenburg.
Look, you can only dodge the bullet for so long
before
everything catches up with you.
When you're on a borderland area, things are probably going to go bad for you. It's just kind of how it goes.
So there's been a lot of questions in chat, and as we kind of start to wrap things up, a lot of people, we just talked about the 15 years of all the things you've done, and people are like, are we going to see more and more fiction in the future? Are we going to see anything happen in the storyline? Obviously, we can't spoil.
Yeah, one of the problems on that stuff, we get those kind of questions a lot. It's very like I can't talk about things until we've at least announce them as a product. But I do think we have a lot of interesting plans for the fiction coming up. There's still some very major events that are going to be happening in the near future that I think will lead for some exciting fiction. I think if anybody didn't get a chance to check out Wicked Ways, you should really pick that up.
Yeah.
And we've been in a little bit of a fiction lull. But we're still trying to get fiction out as much as we can. We're going to be trying to even give you more free fiction via insiders and so on.
There's stuff coming.
There's stuff coming, and I think I mentioned that I've got a short story collection that's going to be coming out soon. So, there's definitely some good fiction on the horizon. It's just a little bit further out right now.
Yep. Well, thanks, Doug.
Yeah.
It's always a pleasure to have you on.
Absolutely.
So
thanks very much, Doug.
Are you doing some drums? Are you gonna?
Oh, do you want some
drum
drums?
do you want to do drums? Have you ever done the drums? Yeah.
Yeah?
His voice.
Mule?
Doug's voice is like butter.
It is.
Like I should just get a recording of him talking and just go to sleep to it.
You have one from yesterday.
I do.
But it's mostly Doug and me shrieking at each other. Little Pagani sits in the corner and
That-
tries to imagine himself in a happier
that
place.
screen cap I got of you, the 3 of you.
You're not Pagani. You're Oz.
Oh, hey, boss.
Pagani isn't going to be on camera?
No.
I was on 4th chair that other time.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Hey, Will Pagani.
Like 2 Primecasts ago, I was back there hiding off screen.
The voice of Will Pagani. All right.
Rex for the
Douglas
win.
Seacat,
Rex
apparently.
for the win on Twitch says,
Yeah.
"Give us Pagani." No, we'll give you his voice, and his voice is also like butter.
Hello.
I don't know.
It's like a broken NPC character right now.
I don't know if his voice is anything like butter.
Hello.
Welcome to the struggle of wills.
Oh, so
So-
much struggle. There's 4 of us.
That's all 4 of us.
So struggly, every
It's a-
will possible.
It's a struggle squared.
Quadrupled?
Cubed?
Sure.
So, let's talk about something.
We always do.
We're doing kind of a 15-year anniversary look back this episode, and so we've had 15 years of development here at Privateer Press. Now, we don't have some of our super old schoolers, like we didn't get Matt in here to sit down on this one, but we're going to talk about some of the things that we were either part of a development or things we remember coming out that we were excited about, just, the history of the games themselves.
I mean,
right?
specifically, like, one of the things I always think is interesting to learn is how did you even get started? Like,
Yeah.
what brought you to the game? What was, like, your first experience with it? And then how did that kind of point you in the direction you wound up with? Because my story is super,
I was curious who was going to
unique.
start telling their story first.
Well, mine is pretty funny because I started as an assistant teacher for a Montessori school in Minnesota, and through circumstance, I wound up coming across a bunch of gaming magazines as I was cleaning the classroom during the summer break before we started for the first year, and I was like, oh, these are really neat. I do a lot of this stuff, and my teacher, my lead was basically said, well, yeah, we do a lot of like diorama stuff, but I'm also an old school gamer. And then we started talking about miniatures games and RPGs and all that stuff. And he wound up being like, have you seen this new one called War Machine from Privateer Press? I was like, no, I haven't. And so we immediately stopped what we were doing. We hopped on the internet because that's what you do when you have no students in the thing. And he started showing me pictures, and I was like, holy cow, that's pretty awesome. When we got to the Gorman picture, that's what sold me. I was like, that model's amazing. So then I went down and picked it up, and we wound up just diving into it wholesale for our game club and all this stuff. But it was just, it was completely circumstantial that somebody mentioned it to me through this like random series of events. And from there, it just kind of trajectoried forward. Like I never stopped playing.
was that 05?
It would have been 04.
04?
Yeah, it was right after Escalation, right before Apotheosis. So I guess it would have been like early 05.
Did you ever think you'd be here working on this stuff?
No,
Right?
not at all, right?
That's the
Like,
same thing I got, right? It's just like, I started back with Ed Burrell and Lyle Lowry at Little Wars in Baton Rouge.
I know, like so many of our alum have come from that
one
region.
We were all press gangers at this store called Little Wars in Baton Rouge, and started it right at Escalation, playing Protectorate, fell in love with the game, played it competitively for quite some time. I'd always wanted to be a game designer, and I had gone to college to get a background in math and computer science. I thought I was going to go work on video games, and I did a little bit of stuff, but then I was like, tabletop was my real passion. So I came here as the retail liaison.
Yep.
And then I moved up to...
I hired you.
You hired me. Then you promoted me to quartermaster, and I did
did.
that for like 30 years. And then
It was a long time.
I started doing the organized play, and then finally got to kind of what I've always wanted to do. So yeah, talking about a retrospective, I'm like living my dream right now. I started playing the game, and now I get to make the game I love.
It's a terrifying dream.
No, it's a great dream.
Terrifying.
Pagani, share with us. When did you start?
Voice of
and
Pagani,
when did
speak
you,
to us.
How did you get here, and how do you feel about it, sir?
So in 2003, I was playing in a Mage Knight tournament at a LAN party in Houston, and
Was it in a trailer?
no,
Oh,
it was
okay.
in a LAN center.
They had those back then.
Yeah. And a buddy of mine, John Galvin, who actually runs Gigabytes Cafe in Atlanta now, picked up like a Crick starter box. He's like, this thing looks awesome. I'm like, man, that does look awesome. So we both bought starter boxes.
Did you both buy Cricks?
No, I bought Cricks. He bought
I like how you
Coddor,
stole
think.
it. He picked it up. He's like, "This looks awesome." You're like, "It sure does."
Well, he's
I'll
like,
take it."
this is what you like. Is this kind of
Yeah,
undead
sure.
stuff.
That's
So-
the story that you're gonna tell.
Have you met Pagani?
So, yeah.
That's how he do.
That's true.
Okay.
He's like,
I'm
"I like
hand-
what you
I'm
have.
definitely
I'll take
handsy.
this," and then everyone's just no,
But
he's
real
too-
fast.
Definitely handsy. Yes.
What was the game at the LAN party? Was it Counter-Strike?
No, it was Unreal Tournament. I want to say it was 2K4, but that couldn't have been because this was in 2003. So it would have been Unreal Tournament 3?
It's the number doesn't matter.
Yeah. But Unreal Tournament was definitely the game. And then I feel like we also played some Counter-Strike, yeah.
Cool.
But who knows what patch.
So
it was.
I hate it when nerds do this, but I'm going to do this to all you guys.
Get it?
It's hateful.
I've been in this longer than anybody now.
Oh,
And it's completely
Wow.
accidental. I was hoping
There we go.
Magani was going to beat me, but he isn't. So Privateer Press went to Gen Con before War Machine was a thing.
right. 2002.
Yes, in 2002 they sold some models, the Butcher and some other models.
So you have
and
one of
they-
the rulers.
And they, no, I stole one of those rulers from a supply closet.
Was it from me? Was
at
it from my
No,
desk?
Why is
there
there-
was one of those
Why is
in the
everybody stealing
supply
stuff?
closet at Steve Jackson Games where
Oh,
I worked
okay.
before here. So I was like, wow, look at this cool old ruler. That's something I've heard about. No, so I was living in Kansas City in 2002 ish, and there was a game store I went to at least once a week, and 31st Century Games in Olathe, which I think is still open, and almost every time I went, they had this weird old curio glass cabinet in the front. And almost always there was a new model in there someone had recently painted.
Was it cursed? And if you took the model home, like something weird happened to you?
Almost. But I walked in one day, probably in September or whatever of that year, and there was this big red robot in that case. And I was like, what is that? Where's that robot from?
Must have.
There's an awesome robot in that case, and what is it? And the store owner was like, I don't know, somebody put it in there. I don't know what it is. And so over the course of that evening, people coming in, people leaving and stuff, I got the story that somebody from Gen Con that year had bought this thing they thought might be related to chainmail, which for anybody who doesn't know was a miniatures game that was D&D related that was out in like the old days, 2001, 2.
Yeah.
And that's because
The early aughts.
Matt and some of those other guys had worked for Wizards of the Coast and were related to it. And then I finally got from somebody that it was what they thought was a juggernaut made by Privateer Press. So then I just started stalking the company on the website.
That's such a good commercial. I think this is a juggernaut.
Yeah, the guy was like,
from a
I
place
don't
called
know.
Privateer Press.
I think that Bob bought that at Gen Con. I think the company's called like Pirate something or whatever. And so it took like a couple of weeks to really figure out what like random internet searches and all that stuff. And then I finally found out it was Privateer Press, and I went to the website and there was nothing there at all. Nothing. And then one day they posted a picture of Asphyxius, the miniature, the original one, and then they turned the forums on. So
And
I'm
then you were in.
forum member like 44 or something on the
Nice.
Privateer Press forums because I was stalking the company at that point, trying to figure out
Just trying to
something.
get a juggernaut. I just
And-
want a juggernaut.
And those stories of like Pagani saying, "Yeah, we bought starter boxes and it was great." I couldn't buy a starter box. my store, 31st Century, got 2 of every starter box in, and that was when that real big popular wave came out, and you couldn't buy them. I went to the store after work, and I got off work at 11:30 in the morning. They had.
What the hell did you do?
I worked in radio.
he was a morning guy.
Yeah, I was the morning guy at a radio station.
Your voice came through radio?
He was the
No,
otter.
I didn't talk. I was Tony.
He was the otter on Frank and the Otter in the morning.
I was Tony pushing the buttons.
The hell's Frank and the Otter?
That's his show.
Yeah.
You can look it up. Google it.
But anyway,
later.
they had like 2 blisters, no Crix models, no starter boxes. I bought a Severius. I said I want to paint something. And then later I traded some old stuff I had for a Crix
You
starter
managed
box.
to get a Crick starter. So you had
Yeah.
Severius and a Crick starter.
Yeah, and then I gave Severius to my brother, and then he started playing Kador instead. So I don't even know what that's about.
I was
Lightning-
really
lightning-
lucky. I owned a store, so
Oh.
when those original battle boxes came out, I just
Oh, yeah.
got the
Yeah,
ones me and my friends wanted.
So it's lightning round before we end the struggle of wills. We've been doing this for
So much
15 years.
struggle.
Not all of us individually, but Privateer Press has been here for 15 years. We've made a lot of different games. What is we're going to go around, favorite game that Privateer Press has ever made?
my.
And I know a lot of people are going to think War Machine, but we're fans of a lot of different things here. So, Chick, favorite game Privateer
I have
Press?
to start?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's just
you
uncool.
always start.
Favorite,
You're a
favorite-
leader.
and this
That's
is
just
this is
uncool.
your own personal enjoyment.
Uncool.
This is the game you like to break out and play with your play group. Favorite game
Favorite game.
that
Like,
Privateer Press makes.
I mean, it's kind of got to be War Machine just based on volume. Like
Okay.
I started with War Machine and Hordes. I've played War Machine Hordes. The reason I came to the company is War Machine Hordes. You know, so like just looking at the history, there's no question. It's those two, right? I came here for that. We got to do a lot of amazing things outside of that. Like Monster Apocalypse would definitely be up there.
Yeah.
Zombies Keep Out, like we talked about.
All the
So
games
up
we
there.
make are amazing, but this
Yeah,
is your
but,
this
I mean,
is your
as far as,
personal
like, the things
favorite.
that I throw on the table, right?
Yeah.
Those other two are really close, but
Awesome.
it's got to be War Machine Hordes.
So I have to disqualify all the games I've made because I made them because they're the
No, you
games I
don't.
want to play. Because that's how you generally make games.
If the games you make are your favorite, go for it.
But it's probably Monpac.
Yeah.
I played War Machine, like I said, from the beginning. But when Monpac came out, I was full on board with Monpac. And then my community kind of fell apart and various other things happened with product availability and that kind of stuff. And now that we're bringing it back, I even brought in today to show badly because he's so tiny.
No, you have to
You know
walk
what?
him up to the camera.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that.
No, Oz, you keep talking. I'll walk him up to the camera.
Okay, and I brought a comparison model of an old Belcher to show you. This is a cast-off bin like misprint. I'm painting. He's got
you're-
2 different paint
So
schemes on him.
you were in the middle of painting him.
I'm in
Which
He's in the
Middle
middle of
camera, this
deciding his paint.
I'm in the middle of deciding which paint scheme I like, and I like the silver one better, but it needs a different color to contrast.
I'm gonna back
and
up
that
a
kind of
little
stuff.
bit. Like here,
But yeah,
John?
it's totally
Here?
Montauk.
Pagani.
There. Look at this thing.
So Chad is actually saying that I have to say Circle is my favorite game.
I mean, that's
Specifically
fair.
inside of that, which actually isn't true. It's actually Shifting Stones.
The game of shifting stones.
Yeah, I feel like Shifting Stones are like this little mini game that you play inside of a game of War Machine and Hordes. And it can really mean a lot on how you use your Shifting Stones inside the Circle faction. So that's actually my favorite thing to do is play with Shifting
The
Stones.
first time I ever heard your name, it was somebody complaining about playing against your shifting stones. So that makes complete sense.
I mean, in my opinion, Mark II Circle was always defined by Shifting Stones, and I think that's something that's fallen off in Mark III that people need to get back on that because they're amazing and they're definitely my favorite thing in the faction.
Not to go down a
I'm not
crazy
even
rabbit
kidding,
hole,
like-
but the first time I ever met Pagani, he was looking for a place to plug a blender in.
Oh, that is an amazing story.
I can't tell the story of the first time I ever met Pagani.
Of course not.
Not on stream.
I'm just saying we had a lot of bets going on in that hardcore Oz, and my poor Magnus ended up inside of that blister.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah. And my favorite is going to be it's War Machine currently, but I do feel like the new Monpoc is very, very close. I did play the original when it first came out when it was collectible, but I really like everything that's happening with the new one. But I mean, so many of my friends in my entire career and all the people I know in my life came from War Machine. So, like, legitimately 80% of my life has been forged because of War Machine and all the people around me these days. So I can't not say War Machine just because it kind of impacted me in a fairly significant manner. So, yeah. We make good stuff.
The
You should play
chat's
it.
real weird right
Chat's
now.
always weird, Oz. Don't see. By the way, they really appreciate your reading chat face. They were talking about the face.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, you contort like something's wrong.
Oh,
You're like,
no, I have a
has
very
to think about
expressive
it.
face, and I like to just make it do weird things. And so, yeah, a lot of times when I see something up there, I try to emote it with my face. Like, never mind, I won't read any of that.
Yeah.
It's too weird.
All right. Well, that is our struggle of wills for this episode. We need to get JR in here to talk
So
about the
much
upcoming.
Just real quick beforehand, Jeffrey in the Facebook chat has brought up a great story that we should probably mention because obviously, as you mentioned, we don't have Matt here. We also don't have our lead developer, Jason Souls, here.
Yeah.
But there's a story that has gone down in Privateer Press epic history and is also disseminated to a lot of the veteran crew in the community because it gets told a lot. But Jason's like pivotal moment for War Machine Hordes, like when he earned his chops as the lead developer, had nothing to do necessarily with his ability to develop the game. It came from that first Gen Con that Oz was talking about in 2002. Apparently, he had like the death plague to where he was burning 106-degree fever and like snot was just like he's just dying.
He was legitimately
literally
dying. Okay.
And rather than say anything about it, he just demoed for 10 hours straight every day, like nonstop, for 4 days, for the entirety of Gen Con. And then they got on the plane, and basically he had to like recoup. He had to go into hibernation for a week and come back out of it. But it was at that point that he got brought on to Privateer Press.
Nice.
Because he had proven, like no one else, he had just proven it. And obviously, you know, the games would not be the same if they didn't have Matt Wilson, who's been the visionary behind it, Jason Souls, lead development, so many great people. But it's a great story, Jeffrey, and just to know, that's what dedication looks like. Dying at Gen Con, demoing a game with all the passion in the world.
Joseph Jakul says, get Souls on the stream sometime. He still has that 106-degree fever. It never went away. So the problem is he's constantly dying. But yes, we're going to try and get him on. In fact, I was talking to him, and when we start playing Monpoc on the Weekly Rumble, I believe you may get some Souls action on the new Monpoc when it comes out. Not confirmed, but, there may
But
be
that's the
Souls.
rumor.
That's the rumor.
That's the rumor.
Oh, God, it's a JR. We didn't even get to drums.
We didn't need drums. My Jason Souls story was the drums. It was
Oh.
more epic than drums could ever be.
Gotcha. It was soul drums.
Yeah.
Hey, the hat's back.
Yeah.
So people love it when you wear the hat, by the way.
Apparently, last time I didn't wear the hat, and that caused some sort of problem. I got called out the entire stream
Yep.
for not wearing this hat.
To the extent that now Schick has a hat.
I
Yeah.
do.
My hats are infectious.
Everybody, it's JR, the con manager.
Hi.
Where did? What? I'm so surprised. Where do people get that hat, by the way?
So this hat is at the same place that you can get this shirt. It's Off-World Designs. They make the hat, this shirt. They make another Fiora shirt. And we were talking to them about potentially some new things as well.
What are we
What
talking
about
about
that?
today?
What about that giant thing you've got next to you?
So this giant thing and this hat are actually on the table and my person because in like 3 weeks is Lock and Load.
Are you giving away your hat at Lock and Load? Because I
Not
don't
my
know that
hat,
anybody
no.
wants that.
No one wants this hat. This hat is attached to me.
I'm excited, but I'm not
mean-
ready.
For Lock and Load?
Yeah, like I'm excited. I'm super hyped for it, but it's like it feels like it's tomorrow, and I'm just like,
It is
I
tomorrow.
mean, it is tomorrow. It effectively
Like-
is tomorrow.
It's go time, right? Like
There's-
my body's bracing for like let's do
There's-
this.
So time may be linear in terms of our perception, but that's not how time works.
Hmm.
There's only a 5-minute window where Lock and Load is not tomorrow, and that is the 5 minutes after Lock and Load has ended.
Is that
for
when
that year?
is that when Gen Con and War Machine Weekend both occur? Is in
Yes,
that 5
yeah, in
minutes?
that 5-minute window. No. The weird anomaly is that it's always the next day for any of those shows. 5 minutes after they end.
Travis Marg real fast says, JR, he wants your hat. He wants to snuggle and sleep with it. It will bring him comfort.
That is unfortunate because there's one thing that I'm good at. It's making people uncomfortable.
That is 100% true.
That's why Schick is leaning so far over is because I've already made
Actually,
him
your bag is
uncomfortable.
really throwing me off here. I don't like it. I
It
feel
is.
like
The bag is close and it's making you lean, and
I know,
I
I
got
don't-
real close.
I don't like it.
Last time I was on
kinda
this,
bothering
I
me.
petted your face.
you did. That was weird.
Travis, you're a good guy. I'll see what I can do about robbing JR and giving you his hat.
You're
at
not
Lock
getting
and
my
Load.
hat. I love you, but no.
Tell us about this bag.
So this bag and this hat, not this specific hat,
Yeah.
but hats like this hat, will actually be prizes available at Lock and Load. Battle Foam is actually hooking us up with a backpack. It's their new backpack that you can actually get on Battle Foam's website.
Yep.
They're also hooking us up with a couple of Magna racks, make it nice and easy to transport your models all over the place.
Oh, those racks are dope.
They're amazing. And Off-World Designs is actually hooking us up with a handful of hats that'll be in the Iron Arena for people to win.
So talking about this bag, and I know a lot of people have not seen this bag. Can you turn it around real fast, so people see? I used this bag. The company gave me one to bring models to the ACD distributor show where I brought all the
I think
Crucible
he
Guard
wants
models.
you to do this.
That's not going to do anything.
It's a sweet backpack bag, and I had not used or
a
seen this
pocket.
one yet.
You're a pocket.
So it is rude, airplane ready. I brought it on all the flights, and it fit perfectly. I never had to like shove it in really hard, or like you couldn't fit right. Like it was always like a perfect fit, and it's just super easy like to carry. I don't know how many models you handed me for the ACD show. A lot.
4 million, actually.
And then yeah, all the foam just goes in, and you wear it on your back like a backpack. And it's got the little pouches on the side. I had my iPad in there. I had all my chargers. I had like just an extra notepad and some books I was reading, and that all fit in this. And
All your templates will fit in there. Really
I'm a big
easy,
fan of
too.
like convenience when I'm carrying an army bag, right? And
Yes.
a backpack to me is one of the most convenient ways to carry something because my hands are free the whole time. So these are awesome, and they're going to be in the Iron Arena, but people can also go buy them, right?
They can buy them. Battle Foam's website. You can also, there will be a bag in Iron Arena for people to win. The top also detaches. I know that Dallas, when he takes his, he'll put all of the things to keep him entertained on the plane in this top part. So then when he puts this in the overhead bin, he can take that off, and he's got his snacks and his toys to keep him occupied on the plane.
Yeah.
You could probably also put bees in there.
I can put bees in anything.
Not in anything.
A lot more bees in here.
Wrong.
You could put a lot more bees in here, but this is where your models
Plenty
go.
more bees.
Bees could go on the top, and the reason is
Bees
then you
are
can
his
detach
model.
it and then take them with you wherever you go.
They're always with me.
Always?
Yep.
So you could produce a bee
You like the
right now.
Candyman? They're just
I could.
Alternately, you could use that top pouch for its roughly intended purpose, which is keeping all your tokens in the nifty little token tray.
craziness.
Sure, if you
Or
wanted
your
to
i-
keep tokens there.
Or your iPad for using War Room and stuff like that. So, JR, Lock and Load's right around the corner.
Lock and Load is right around the corner.
If people haven't bought your tickets yet, pplockandload.com. Tickets are still available. I think the hotel blocks are full up. And you get your tickets. We've got, 3 weeks left?
There are almost exactly 3 weeks.
Tell us something. Tell us something about Lock and
June
Load. we don't
22nd
know.
through the 24th. pplockandload.com.
Something you don't know?
Tell us, not me. Tell them something exciting
Tell
about
them
Lock and Load.
something that you don't know?
Yeah.
That they don't know.
That they don't know.
Them.
Yeah.
How do I
Out
know
there
what they know?
in the world, the
the
universe.
world?
What's something they don't know? I mean, we just told them about the bags and the hat. That's cool.
Bags in the hat.
That's cool
Those
stuff.
we do. One of the other things that I can tell people is that in Kid Kingdoms, we have some brand new coloring pages.
So Kid Kingdoms is something a lot of people don't know about. Will you tell everybody what that is real fast?
So Kid Kingdoms is actually going to be a portion in the Iron Arena, and it's a chance for the Munchkins who attend Lock and Load and the older Munchkins.
The Munchkins at heart.
Yes. You're not a Munchkin at heart.
So am. I love
You're a
coloring.
grouchy old man.
I know grouchy old children at heart. It's the same thing.
Who loves coloring?
Yes. So last year, 2 years ago, we debuted some of the coloring pages. Last year, we brought out some new ones. This year, we'll actually have brand new, never been used coloring pages for people to color in. And we will see if there is a coloring contest.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, you've given me an idea with the weird way that you constructed that sentence about the coloring pages that weren't used. I'm totally sliding some of my used pages into your stack. So you can color on my used coloring pages.
When I go and actually put all
what
of
is
the
happening?
coloring pages together,
Thanks, John.
I'm
You're
going
a-
to make sure.
You're a peach, man.
No, it's that JR like just
What do you
hates
guys do?
listening to me.
listening. You weren't using
I
words.
don't live with him. You do.
You were motioning.
I know.
You
You
were
must have liked
miming.
this before
Your
that.
miming put me in Chick's lap.
Radio.
It's only
charade.
weird whenever I wake up and he's at the edge of the bed, just fingers on the mattress looking at me, like kind of peeking his head. He just goes like
just the eyeballs.
he just giggles and then runs
Like
away.
this.
Yeah. That's at home. That's at conventions. That's why it's fun to share a room with me.
My life's a nightmare.
Your life's amazing.
So-
But only because I'm in it. So we've got that for the Kid Kingdoms area. Iron Arena will be open 24 hours a day. It's actually going to be on the second floor.
Nice.
And up on the third floor, in our hobby lounge, we're actually going to have the display boards for the Display It Painted. So it'll be a chance for people to kind of check out some of the different cool things that you can do hobby-wise. My board will be there. I am currently working on it. The tentative title is Life's a Beach.
Life's a beach.
Okay.
Because all of my trolls are based in sand, so I'm actually constructing their beach.
Is there going to be like an umbrella and a beach ball?
no
some, like,
umbrella and beach
towels?
ball right now? However, I do have a whelp making a sandcastle.
Well, that's
Aw,
something.
your conversions are like off the hook. That's like the thing. Like every hobbyist has a thing they do, and obviously you just convert things like
Into
a
nightmares.
into nightmares.
It's true.
Like my
It's
mana
true.
warders.
Yes, your
Yes.
mana warders.
So
Mostly, it's can I make it a troll is the question.
When it comes to
So-
conversions, yeah. It's, how do I make this thing that I like a troll?
Well, I like trolls and I like things, so if I can combine the two, it's much better. So additionally, I think that people may not know, but on day one, we've got the narrative event that Oz is running, and that's going to be awesome. I think people will really get a kick out of it. But on
The
day
multi-table
2,
Company of Iron thing.
4
Yeah.
tables running same time, rules changing all throughout based on what people are doing. We're actually running it again on Saturday. Oz is running it again, so it won't be on live stream, but people will get a second chance to kind of see kind of the madness that evolves out of that. And actually, in our Dead Reckoning event, which is the multi-table RPG event, they're actually going to be taking some of the results of Oz's narrative event and incorporating those into how that game plays. So based on how
Everything's
people
connected.
do in
Everything.
Oz's narrative event, will actually dictate some of how things happen in the RPG that happens upstairs.
Nice.
So JR, 2 questions I want to pull for you. from
3
chat.
answers for you.
Excellent. First one: how are people going to go about getting their Crucible Guard at Lock and Load?
Yes.
Excellent. well,
I think,
done.
I
So
think
the
this
Crucible
is-
Guard will be available in the store. Store hours are going to run 10 to 6 on Friday, 10 to 6 on Saturday, and 10 to 4 on Sunday.
Perfect. All right, continue. We'll get back to the other ones in a minute.
When you said there was another question, I have at
there's
least another
so
answer.
Cheddar Caveman, Chad Kaufman, Tharn CID enthusiast, and overall pretty decent dude, wants to know when's the keynote.
The keynote starts things off. So 9 a.m. on Friday,
June 22nd.
June 22nd, that will start the show.
Is the
And the
keynote-
2 of you will be up on stage.
Yes. Is the keynote being live streamed?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
The keynote will be live streamed and it will be uploaded to our Twitch channel and our YouTube channel. So even if you don't get a chance to check it out right first thing, you will be able to watch
I mean,
it.
if you don't check it out right first thing, then everything's going to be spoiled before you get to watch it. So you should watch it.
Oh yeah, because
That's true.
there's some. Obviously, we're not gonna say anything, but this year's keynote. Remember how last year's keynote was really
Why
good?
do you keep saying things? You just said you're not going to say anything.
I'm going to say 3 things.
Remember how last year keynote was really good and everybody was really happy? You're gonna get the same thing again. It's the exact same keynote. We're gonna announce Crucible Guard. We're gonna talk about all these things. No, I'm joking. It'll be a lot of good stuff. Watch it.
I mean, you think you're joking.
Well, it's literally the same video for video.
I'm just going to give you the same notes
that
from
is-
last year, not share anything.
That is not what it is.
We're like, check out the Blindwater CID coming up, and everybody's like, wait a second.
What?
What's happening?
But if last year's made you hype, This one will make you double extra Mick woot hype.
Woo! That's a tall
That is
glass
a tall
of water.
order, John. What are you trying
Tall
to do
glass
right
of
now?
water.
If it's a tall glass of water, I believe he's trying to hydrate you.
Yes. Hail hydrate.
Fair enough.
I'm done. I got nothing left.
My favorite part of it is the redacted part.
Yes. Yes. Redacted is super dope. Almost as good as blank.
I like censored too. The censored one's awesome.
So, JR, before we get... You're just turning the mic off?
You realize
Thanks for
this
joining
means
us.
that I just have to lean over and talk into your mic.
Oh man, this is just
You made
there.
it
It's
so
back,
much
it's
worse.
back.
Oh.
So sweaty.
Yes, I've been building a Gen Con booth.
All right, so real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
We've been doing 15 years talk,
Yep.
looking back.
We're just
Kind of
talking for 15 years?
No. Talking about the 15 years of War Machine,
Oh,
kind of
okay.
our memories.
That
and all
makes more
stuff.
sense.
Share with us one of your classic memories. What's a big seminal moment in your War Machine and Hordes privateer
But wait,
press
they've
journey?
all been themed. So, JR, please give us one of your favorite memories at a convention.
Okay, convention.
That you can talk about on the stream without losing your job.
Well, there.
It doesn't have to be while you worked here either. It
What
can just
about-
any of the length of time?
There was that one time that.
No, don't talk about this.
No, I didn't.
Pagani with a hobby horse. Hungy in a bee suit.
No,
was
me in a
same
bee
year.
suit was
So
not good
Dallas's
for anybody.
kid
My actual
calling
favorite
Schick a nerd when he saw the
convention,
tattoo.
actually involves Schick. 2006, we were living in Minneapolis.
Yep.
And we piled into a car and we drove to Gen Con.
Yep.
It was our first big convention for these things. It was the first time going to
Well,
Gen
and
Con.
we went to Gen Con specifically because we just wanted to play in the Masters event.
Yep. We went entirely to Gen Con
For War Machine
just to
Hordes, that was
play
it.
in the Master.
We
That
had
was
no
it.
idea
That was
what.
the only
We
reason.
literally had no idea what Gen Con was.
None. We knew it was a big convention and that was it.
Did.
You just showed up
We
to
did.
Gen Con like, oh God.
We knew it was a gaming convention. Well, because it showed up in no quarter, and they were like, we're having our open War Machine and Hordes tournament, and I was like, hey, I teach, I have summers off. Can you get this time off? We should go do this just on a lark.
You
That
think
was
you're
it, that's all we
you
knew.
thought you were like rolling up
That's
to
all
like
we
an
knew.
LGS and you're gonna be like, oh, there'll be like 40 people
knew it
there.
was a
That'll be a big
convention.
event.
We knew it was a
It's a
convention, so we
convention, but-
anticipated a couple thousand people.
We had no
Which
idea.
was right, times 5, 10.
Yeah, we had no idea what was going on.
There was a lot of people there. And so we showed up, and that show, for whatever reason, I only ate buffalo wings.
Yes.
For the entire show. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Why?
Was just
Nobody
buffalo
knows
wings. I
to this
can't even
day.
tell you. I have absolutely no idea.
All right, JR. So the second of the questions.
Yes.
So I believe I saw Richard working on a layout map for Lock and Load.
Yes.
So that is something that we plan to have before. We could share in like an insider.
No.
Damn.
That's why I hadn't said anything about it.
Well, spoiled.
Is there anything more to this story, or is it like I ate chicken wings for 4 days straight, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then I died?
And then he suffered physically for it.
6
I mean,
days straight.
Oh,
And,
why?
Well, the celery provides fiber. It's good for you.
No, not enough.
Oh, absolutely.
Wait, boneless or bone in?
Bone in.
You're a madman.
So we showed up playing the Masters tournament, and this was Mark I Masters.
I would hope so. I hope you weren't playing Mark III Masters in 2006.
I was actually playing Mark V.
Oh, that Haley though.
Oh, it was amazing.
But-
So I roll up with my Crix. And I was playing Crix because originally you had bought Signar and Protectorate,
Yep.
and then forced me to play,
Yes.
and then told me I had to get my own battle
We
box.
played everything wrong.
Oh, God,
Actually,
yes,
we were
so
playing Mark
far.
III.
We
because in
were
our
playing
first-
Mark
In our
III.
first game, I was like, so the way that Rate of Fire works is you just get to shoot that many times. That's why it's Rate of Fire.
Sure, yeah.
So charges were bonkers.
Yeah, they were completely
It was
busted.
great.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we were playing
see,
Mark III.
I knew it was coming.
So there was that. But yeah, and I remember playing, and I still to this day remember Jason Souls coming by, and we had not played out in the wild ever. It
Yeah.
was just the two of us. We'd been playing against one another, and that was it. And that was pirates. There were pirates.
Yeah.
And I remember bottom of one being charged.
No, you're getting your Gen Cons mixed up. That would have been 7.
Yeah.
You
That
got
was
charged
7?
in 06. You got charged by a manhunter and who had a client as a Bokur, and he wrecked your entire army.
Oh yeah, just cut through, just lawnmowered through.
was
and I
great.
remember Souls came by the table, watched just the chaos that was happening, and his only comment was, "Nice," and then off he went.
Yeah.
and that was it.
The first time I ever met somebody from the company before I worked here was Wilson. Was at Bayou Wars 2007 in New Orleans. It was a hardcore. It's actually where I faced Pagani. I ended up winning that one because we both played really dumb, and we both made dumb mistakes. It's just my dumb mistake was slightly less dumb than his. And I won, and Matt Wilson walked over and told me good job and shook my hand. And that was my first time I ever met somebody from the company, was that.
So I have a Souls story from 2006 as well. It's different, but and largely in the same vein. There was a guy, so I was playing Signar. I had Striker 2. Striker 2 is awesome. I love him. And then there was a guy that was across the way from me playing a different game. He was also playing Striker 2. And we were sitting, like, we both had this moment where I was like, I don't know how much to roll for my overload. It was a really important roll. I was like, I kind of need to go like super big or I'm going to lose. But if I go too big, I might die because Striker already taking damage. And so a bunch of the staff and the judges came around and they were like egging me on to go over and all that stuff. I rolled and it was whatever. I got enough. I didn't win that game, but I didn't kill myself. The exact same thing happened on the table opposite, except this time Souls was there. And he's watching, and of course the judges start egging the guy on, and his striker had not been hurt at all.
Yeah.
He's fine.
Totally healed.
Yeah, totally healed. And they're like, and the guy's like, okay, I'm gonna roll 2 dice for overload. Like, really? You're gonna just roll 2 dice? Come on, you're not even hurt. Just roll 3 dice. Go for it. Go play big. The guy rolls his 3 dice. He gets like an okay result. I think he got an 11 for like his power up. And then he rolls for the damage. Trip 6s. Striker dies. And everybody at the tail's like, oh! And Souls just leans over the guy and goes, we wrote that rule for you. And he walks away. And I was like, what happened? There you go. So 2006 was a great year for Jason Souls quotes.
Well, even better. So 2018 Gen Con, Jason Souls will be with us.
That's right. He will be there.
We will have
You can
Jason
overload your
Souls
striker
at
to
Gen
death
Con
Yes.
this
and learn
year.
that that rule was for you.
Yep. So, JR, thanks for being on.
Absolutely.
Anybody who wants to see JR.
So go to pplockandload.com.
Yep, I was about to say it.
Because we still got some tickets. Go to Off-Road Design, get you a hat or a shirt. Go to Battlefoam, get you a bag.
Get that bag. That bag is sweet.
We'll get the
Ooh,
bag,
that
and then
bag
that
is
way
so
you can
good.
get
I've got
to
one too.
Lock and Load easier.
Yeah. So, but if you want to come talk to JR about more con stories, if you want to talk to Chick
Just about anyone.
About
Matt Wilson about his favorite con stories.
Pagani, Oz, me, Tony Konachek, who is the best of us, Dallas about painting, come to Lock and Load. We're all there, and we basically want to hang out with you and talk to you when we're not
Absolutely.
working.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us, JR.
Where are my drums?
Huh.
Travis is saying some very strange things in chat right now that I'm actually not. Travis, congratulations. You've actually said things in the chat that I'm not going to repeat. You win this round. So, episode 54, man.
Chair problems.
What is happening over there?
Chair problems.
Episode 50,
Technical difficulties.
episode 54 is over.
54 is in the bag. It's been an amazing one down a winding and oddly shaped memory lane.
It's been a longer one. We've gone for like an hour and 10 minutes, and we're not even done yet.
We had so much more to talk
Hey,
about.
everybody that's watching, thanks for sitting here with us for like an hour and a half or however long it's been while we just chatted and talked to people and, talked to all of you. So.
And also, we'd like you to get in on the action. So I really want to hear the community's memories too.
Yeah.
So just hit us up on Facebook or Twitter. Hashtag
6 days of wings.
Hashtag
No, WM Memories.
Hashtag
WM15.
6 days of wings.
WM15, apparently, John's telling me. WM15, give us your favorite memory. What brought you into the game? The thing that really hooked you in? Anything. We just want to hear about your journey as well. And we want to be able to share that. And we'll probably post some more of our hashtag memories because I barely got to talk about any of the things I wanted to talk about because we only have an hour and 10 minutes.
So I kept mine short. When you were a host, it's all about our guest, right?
It is. And man, they're long-winded.
They are.
Long-winded.
Yeah. Have you
Except
ever?
for Pagani, if he's not physically present, it's really hard to supplicate his voice.
Have you ever watched Oz and JR have a conversation with each
No,
other?
I
They
can't.
started once in 2009, and it's still happening
I know.
today.
They never
So
stop.
Travis was asking if there will be a Primecast live at Lock and Load. Yes, Primecast 55 will be live at Lock and Load.
So live, so awesome.
I believe Saturday, the 9 a.m. slot.
Yeah. So join us next month when we have the next Primecast, which will
Well,
be
actually, end of this month.
end of this month. Sorry.
3 weeks. You get it. You get it a week and a half early.
Crucible Guard. Probably a lot more Mon Poc to talk about. And will it be after the keynote?
It will be. Yeah. So it'll be.
It'll be
Saturday,
Saturday,
no,
so
sorry,
day after
Sunday.
keynote.
It's Sunday.
On
yeah.
Sundays, 2 days after
Because that way you
keynote.
guys can talk about
Sure,
what
everything
you saw
that
at Lock and
happened,
Load.
all
Yeah.
the good stuff.
We have
Yep,
some
so Sunday, 9 a.m.
amazing stuff to talk about in the keynote.
Yep.
So, did you say we were going to preview anything for War Machine Hordes in your Insider? You did, didn't you? Right? You just said we were going to preview something? Mm-hmm. Like we have for the last couple of years, right? Okay.
Redacted.
Yeah, we're going to preview the Redacted.
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Insider. Did you change my Insider at all?
No.
Okay, so it said, new faction.
It said new faction.
New faction.
Okay. Seriously. This new faction that we're going to show. Watch the keynote. I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to spoil it for you, but holy hell, we did it. Come
Did we?
watch.
I mean, we're still working on the keynote, but definitely come watch. It's
No.
going to be amazing. And we're going to have a lot of fun. We got a lot of cool things to share, just like the insider said. So
Yeah, we'll see you all there.
be there. Yeah, sounds great. We'll test you on the next one, guys. If you're coming to Lock and Load, catch us up. Otherwise, give us your War Machine memories. Hashtag
WM15.
WM15.
Hashtag 6 days of wings.
Stop it.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
pplockandload.com.
No, but seriously, I can't wait for them to see the new faction. Like, it's going to be completely insane.
But they're not going to.